What about you? You're very welcome. Thank you for dropping in. As always, a special shout out to my Patreon friends. That's the account, if you wouldn't mind throwing in £5 a month. That allows me to keep on annoying those in power and people who normally don't get nasty things said about them, who should deserve getting nasty things said about them. But thanks to all these people. And so the voice is still croaky. I am still on tour and aided by my ever funny wingman, Mr. Terry McHugh. Well, we had 3 shows last week in Cookstown, Coleraine, and the Ulster Hall. My thanks to all who came. It was great crack. It was really good fun. I enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it too. Now, we finished this year's tour on Saturday the 22nd of February in the Ardone Theatre in Enniskillen. It's a long drive, so you better come. Better come. Now, as usual as happens when I'm on tour, I've had approaches to do corporate gigs. And these are very, very kind of you. It's very nice. And these can be everything from business events to family dues. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I'm unable to facilitate such requests due to the fact that having done a fair few in the past, I simply don't enjoy them. I love performing comedy, but I am now 63 years old, and I decided some time ago that I'm going to play out what few days I have left by doing stuff I enjoy. I enjoy doing live comedy, doing the tour. I enjoy doing this, great crack. But for example, another thing I don't do, I will not accept, nor have I asked for any sponsorship for this vlog. You will not hear me giving a shout out for some soft drinks company, nor strong drinks company, nor will I have any company sponsored paraphernalia behind me as a backdrop. The reason for this is simple. I value my freedom of expression more than a financial handout. I will not be stymied by the fear of offending the hand which feeds me. I'm happy to rely on those of you who throw in a few quid for the Patreon account. And you see, it's easy that way, because if you don't like me, you just saw it off. That's fair enough. Because here's the reality. We now live in an online world of influencers and gurus who give advice predicated on whoever is pulling their strings. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, is going to get to pull my strings. So if I make a mistake, which I have done and will do, at least you'll know it's my mistake. And that what I'm saying at that moment in time is what I happen to believe to be true. Now, in conclusion, I bear no ill will to either advertisers nor the corporate world. I just believe there should be a few spaces online where their influence, both overt and more importantly covert, isn't allowed to dictate the debate. That said, I've always preferred to wear the Union flag condom. Yes, the Union flag condom. The only condom guaranteed to kill off all Fenian sperm. Yes, that's the Union flag condom. Last week I had a go at Edwin Poots, the Speaker of the Assembly, whose arrogance in criticising MLA's dress sense became hypocrisy when he then began to lecture them about proper procedure in public office. This from a man whose own son is barred from holding any public office after having been found in breaches of numerous rules around how to behave as a councillor when he was on Lisburn Council. Maybe Edwin should have had a wee talk with his son before he starts lecturing anybody else. But not to be outdone, this week Sinn Féin took the Speaker's baton in the shape of Primary Deputy Speaker Karen LaCoulin, who decided to bar any criticism of her party's handling of the Michael McMonagle debacle, even though the topic under discussion at that time was enhancing accountability and trust in government. TUV MLA Timothy Gaston, who I admit, he's hard to listen to. The child's hard to listen to, right? He makes English sound like a second language. But leaving that aside, Timothy had a point to make.
Scheme which we're talking about, Mr. McMonagle was employed by the First Minister from March 2020 to May 2020, as it is detailed, in paragraph 18 of this report, is for expenditure associated with members, not political parties, not press offices. So when at the committee, the First Minister wouldn't say how many days a week. I think it's very pertinent that we talk about this today. And sadly, on that day, the chair of the committee, true to form, was anxious to make sure that she avoided that question.
Mr. Costin, This isn't about the TO committee.
Oh,
This is
no,
about...
but we're talking
excuse
about
me.
FAP.
Excuse me. Can you take your seat, please? Mr. Goss, I want to remind you, this is about the Assembly Commission's budget. It's not about the TO committee. It's not about the chair of the committee or anyone else. And if you have any questions regarding those issues, please do so through the normal channels. I'm asking you to resume and to address the substance of the debate, and if not, I'll move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Principal Deputy Speaker, it seems to be any time I try to raise issues related to this, I always seem to be shut down, whether it's committee or now we have it in the chamber before us here today. We are talking about the FAP scheme, which is financial assistance for political parties, and was talking about members and what they can spend their money on.
And was stopped on 2 separate occasions by Speaker Nicoulahan after he attempted to raise what he saw as irregularities in the way Sinn Féin access public funding to pay their press officers. To block this would appear to be a clear example of party political censorship and a blatant attempt to stymie criticism of Sinn Féin. The Speaker, however, argued Mr Gaston's points were not, and I quote, relevant to the motion brought by the SDLP. Now, having been ordered by the Speaker to take a seat on 2 occasions, and exasperated, Mr Gaston objected, saying, Deputy Speaker, this is all about trust and accountability. And I'm giving instances of where trust and accountability has been trashed in this place. It's been trashed inside the chamber. It has even been trashed in the TEO committee, which you're a member of. And I think this opportunity should be allowed to progress my concerns. He was told to shut up. Right? Okay, so let's be clear. If the points raised question any of the other political parties in the Assembly, they're judged to be fair. However, if they relate to Sinn Féin, then according to Deputy Speaker Nicoulahan, they are unfair. You know, it's like we've turned the clock back in the Assembly to the bad old days when right or wrong was decided by whoever held the most seats. There were more acrimonious scenes during a sitting of the Education Committee when Minister Paul Given was challenged over a decision to award £710,000 to Lisneal College for not for the science lab, not for new rooms, not for new heating, but for a football pitch upgrade. I shit you not, a football pitch upgrade. Now, Mr. Given has denied having any influence on the decision. The questions were raised as to why Lisneal College, which already has state-of-the-art facilities, was awarded such a large amount of public money. Like, I'm wondering myself. SDLP member Cara Hunter, she asked the minister if he was considering his position after other controversy surrounding his decision to meet with the Loyalist Communities Council. This is a group representing loyalist paramilitaries.
Factual comments today are regarding you did meet with the LCC, you did not allow schools to integrate despite parental vote that was democratic, you didn't uphold that, and you did appoint colleagues and former colleagues to high positions within the Education Authority. I don't think
this comes only a week after the same Minister Given, rejected out of hand the wishes of parents to have Lisburn College become integrated. New. Went over the head of his own advisors. Went over the head of the civil servants. New. His argument being there weren't enough tags in to make it worthwhile. Forgetting about it isn't all about tags and prods. Let's leave that there. I talked about that already. Such is the nature of democracy in this place that seemingly paramilitary apologists have better access to ministers than law-abiding parents of children wishing to have their children educated together. God forbid you have that. Like, that's a terrible idea in such a wonderful community as ours. But it wasn't all acrimony in the hallowed halls of the Assembly. Oh, no. Because to add insult to injury, there's been a rumour circulating that MLA pay may soon be increased by a whopping £20,000 per year. It's a nice job if you can get it. Really is. Now, the argument being pushed by some is that this increase would bring members, MLAs of the Northern Ireland Assembly up to the level of other devolved institutions, such as in Scotland and Wales. Now, this is a somewhat self-serving and conveniently ignores the peculiarities of the Northern Ireland Assembly. Namely, that it hasn't sat for most of the last 10 years. On top of that, on the rare occasions when MLAs have actually turned up, their incompetence has led to the loss of 500 million with the RHI debacle. And their inability to bring a budget recently resulted in the abrogation of their powers and responsibilities onto civil servants. This has resulted in an NHS service on the critical list, a crumbling road system causing gridlock every afternoon, which seems to be due to eternal roadworks, and our children being educated in derelict schools. Oh, apart from Lisneal College, of course. It's very nice. No, it's very nice. Such is the level of cronyism and incompetence within the Assembly. You know, I would argue we'd be better served if the place was closed down, save that money, and some form of direct rule from Westminster or Dáil Éireann took over. Or if that isn't an option, here's an idea. Maybe Donald Trump could include us in his redevelopment plans for Gaza. Seriously, just ship us all out to Greenland or some wee island off Africa and make Northern Ireland into the biggest golf resort in the world. I'm serious. People here are so pissed off, we'd happily board that plane. Indeed, rather than raise MLA pay, could I suggest MLAs repay the public purse the monies they received when on their all too frequent paid holidays? It is a disgrace that while a single mother living on the breadline would have the full weight of the law fall on her head if she took 1 penny more than allocated in benefits, yet our political class have no problem raking in tens of thousands of pounds of unearned public money. I give them an option at times. Like, see the first wee holiday they had, I tweeted every day. I tweeted on my birthday, the days I was sick, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, informing people that MLAs were in receipt of ill-gotten gains. And after that, I stopped doing it because it doesn't make any difference. You just vote for them anyway. But I'd still like to suggest, as I did then, that if they want to regain some scintilla of public trust, then they should donate that part of their salaries given when they weren't doing the jobs that they were supposed to be doing. Just give that money to local charities, to food banks, to where it's needed. I suggested that a few years ago. You will be stunned. When you hear this, you'll be stunned to learn that not one MLA took me up on that suggestion. Not one. Kerching. That's what it is, people. Kerching. And they're going to get the 20 grand. And do you know who's going to be paying for it? Us! Do you know what makes me sad? I could have been an MLA if it just sold out that wee bit of integrity that I have left. The Wankers of the Week prize goes out this week to the PSNI sharpshooters who were sent to the World SWAT competition in Dubai, who haven't failed to hit all their targets. Just missed coming last, finishing 97th out of 103 teams. Now, admittedly, the boys did finish just ahead of an all-female policing team from Sao Paulo, with teams below them being staffed by competitors from the WBPS, or World Blind Police Shooters. Now, red-faced police chiefs defended the £20,000 outlay for the Dubai Jolly Trip, saying they'd accepted the invitation to compete in this challenge that saw 120 teams from 48 countries compete against each other in 5 challenging events designed to test competitors' endurance and skills. Yeah. But hold on here a second. With the PSNI budget being cut by 11 million, and now John Boucher, the Chief Constable, having to go to beg the Prime Minister for some extra funding, maybe sending 5 half-blind shooters on a jolly to Dubai where they were humiliated now looks somewhat silly. The competition was eventually won by an elite China police team which finished on 480 points. Do you want to know how many points the PSNI team finished on? 38! 30! Stevie Wonder could have hit more than that. Stevie Wonder would have done better than that. Video of the event, well, it's online. It's hilarious. It showed one PSNI officer struggling to even get the ammunition out of his pocket. He couldn't get it out of his pocket, leading to one of the commentators joking, his trousers are too tight, or he must have had them in a hot wash. Then your same man, right, the same boy, he couldn't get the bullet into the gun. He couldn't get the bullet in. When he eventually got the bullet in, to give him credit, he missed all 4 targets. Missed all 4 of them. Didn't hit one of them. With one of the shots going so badly that the commentators described it as, that one's gone a bit wild. Wild. You hear that? Wild. So while a PSNI spokesperson explained that the force viewed the competition as an opportunity to seek out best practice on a global stage and continue to actively pursue all opportunities to improve our policing standards and keep communities in Northern Ireland safe. This has proved the opposite. It's proved the absolute opposite. I swear, can you imagine if these guys ever get deployed? Can you imagine if these guys ever get sent out? Do you know what I mean? Tango 2-4, Tango 2-4. What is it? We need the guys with the guns here. They need the rifle guys. Are you sure? Oh, we need the rifle guys, all right. You need to hold on for a minute. I need to clear a 5-mile radius around that incident. If they're sent out, it isn't the criminals need worry. We're the ones who are in danger of getting shot. There's video of it. Look online. I'm making any of this up. I've not made any of that up. This is online. And I would have to say, after that years of the troubles, you'd think, let me tell you something here. Let me tell you something. I'll sum it up like this. I could go out right now in North Belfast, throw a stone and hit 5 guys who could shoot better. Guaranteed. And I'd be one of them, and I'm shite. That's all I'm saying about this. You'll do nothing. You hear me? You'll do nothing.